either of these two, any of these two might, these three might be, two might be similar, and one different.
Identified and responded to.
Yes. Responded in the full sense of how it was dealt with, how the process used to understand the incident and learn from it, etc., and so on.
Well, obviously, C and A are loss of primary containment.
Yep. Well, but they all are in a way.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, you wouldn't classify that really as an LPC.
Oh, I think that was, yeah.
Well, on the other hand, it's the pressure that's the problem, isn't it? The energy.
Yeah, the energy here is the problem, and it hurt a person.
Yes.
A person was injured. Whilst the A and C are loss of primary containment.
It's how they were identified and responded to that we're interested
and
in.
The F1 was identified by someone getting hurt.
Yes.
And of course the in kind of potential, but also risk was for the person. So the focus there is, of course, then mainly to help the person. Ensure the person get the treatment and the check, and that he needs to ensure he's safe and well.
Yes.
Whilst the two others is more on spill and containing spill. The first one is spill to the environment.
Yep.
So the kind of immediate action is to close valves and ensure that the spill stop.
Yeah.
And the C1 it was the secondary containment was in place.
Okay.
So it was not spilled to the environment as such.
Yeah.
More to collect. The response is more to collect the spill. So, yeah, the two first ones are maybe a bit more urgent. You need to respond straight away.
Yes, okay, that's a clear distinction, isn't it?
I think the C1 you maybe have a bit more time to maybe think and plan it because it is contained and you want to collect it.
So both these, in a way, I think what you're saying required rapid response, and this one bit less urgent.
Yep.
That'd be interesting. Yes, because of its nature. That's an interesting comparison.
F1, it's people involved, so I think always the people or person has the highest or first priority.
Of course, yes.
B1, you know that there's no people risk as such, so your focus will be a bit different.
Yes. So is that the difference that you're interested in then here? These two versus this one, because this one is people. Is that the big difference between these? These two are more similar than that one. These are similar because of their they don't involve people and therefore don't require medical emergency response, etc.
Yeah, I think that's one of the differences. So in that sense, we would group it like that. The other, and
we could group it like that as well because of what you said.
Which we also will do simultaneously, is that one is not that urgent to respond to. You have a bit more time to, and the to A and F, you need immediate response.
Well, we've got two comparisons. Let's talk about two comparisons then. That's interesting. I'm going to write down, first of all, then, as the first comparison you said is the need for emergency, for high, in terms of importance of the risk is people, and so these two are less important than the less of a risk than this one. So it's a so the scale is basically based on response urgency. So let me see how it is. Care for people is care for people here rather than care for the environment. You might say scale of, yes, okay. Urgent care for people, would that be a good way of putting it?
Yeah.
So response is urgent care for people.
Yeah, but of course, if it has been a bigger, or serious environmental risk, people comes first. But if it has been a serious spill to the environment, that would also be important.
Of course, yeah, but understood. Yeah.
A incident by closing a water to sea discharge valve.
Yeah.
You immediately stop the discharge.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to minimise the risk to the environment. I understand what you're saying there. But people comes first, and this is a thing you're saying, which I think is a really interesting and clever, sensible thing to say.
Yeah.
So with the other end of the spectrum is care for the environment.
Yeah.
In fact. Yeah.
And whether it's contained or not contained, right?
Yes.
A difference between A and C, and in terms of response urgency, you might say, or yeah.
Yeah. So we've got two different comparisons.
Also, in that sense, between A and C, it's the A, when you close the valve, you stop the discharge.
Yeah.
And it's a quite simple operation. Whilst collecting the spilled diesel, which is contained but in a tray, will give some exposure to the personnel that is collecting it.
Okay. Yeah.
And between A and C, you need to plan it more properly as well. How to do the C, how to protect yourself, and there's no reason for it to be urgent. So
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So in fact, I think there's a difference here, because I think you're saying this is basically less urgent response. No, that's not right. That's not true. Than this. No. We had a. Yeah. These both required urgent response, and this one didn't. Yeah, that's what you said earlier on. So, and I think you just saying that again. Is that right? So a second scale. Oh, excuse me. Is coming out of this comparison is in fact.
So it's urgentness, it's exposure or risk for people.
Yeah, but so I'm writing down a second comparison: urgency or urgent emergency response. You might say, to limit the to contain the hazard and deal with it, and non-urgent. Really, that's fair to say that, because it's only a loss of LOPC in the secondary containment, like you say. So that's an interesting scale as well. So I'd like to score these now between the idea of, first of all, requiring urgent care for people and care for the environment. So obviously that one